Hello everyone, my name is Omid. I'm a network engineer. Today we're gonna be talking about BGP Local Preference and MED and how to use them to reroute inbound and outbound traffic. Let's check them out and then we can configure them on the router and see how we can reroute traffic. So we have local preference. The default value is 100. You can use local preference to influence outbound traffic on your BGP, and the higher local preference value is preferred. You also can use MED to influence inbound traffic when your AS has two BGP to same provider. And you also have AS-Path Prepend option you can use to reroute inbound traffic. And communities another option. Each provider has their own customized community. You can find information in their website. So if you tag your prefix with provider upstream provider community, so you tell provider, okay, you can just lower local preference for this prefix. So there is bunch of community you can use. One for backup, doing black hole. So you have to check their website and see what community they already configure on the router and just use them. So let's get back to the diagram that we have. So this is diagram one. We have AS number 65,000 with two edge router. Each router has one BGP to Lumen and other one to GTT. Those are tier one provider in US, one of the best provider. So on the other side we have router 3 that represent Google AS number, and we are advertising these two IP block. As you know, quad 8 is Google DNS IP, and we have router 6 that has another Google AS number for Google Cloud and is announcing this IP block. So every configuration has been done for the BGP. So now router 1 and router 2 can see those IP block from Google through both Lumen and GTT. Let's take a look at the routers. So we have router 1. So router 1 has BGP to Lumen and also iBGP to router 1. So this is the IP that we are announcing to Lumen. Two 168, 10, and 20. Same for router 2, we have BGP to GTT and iBGP to router 1. So let's get back to our diagram. So as a senior network engineer or network engineer that you're working on data center, so let's say customer complain and saying that they have routing issue when they trying to reach quad 8, and you troubleshoot and notice that when traffic leave your router 1 through Lumen to reach quad 8, that's where you see the packet loss, and you would like to reroute traffic to go through GTT instead. So that's where you can use local preference to reroute your outbound traffic. So this this is our scenario we're gonna work on. So let's get to the router and configure that. So if you're interested to look up AS number and information, there is a website you can use as ASN lookup. There is a bunch of tools you can use. There is a search bar. You can put your AS number or even IP. So I'm gonna put quad A to see what is the AS number that is advertising it. So it's showing Google AS number. If I click on it, there is information about AS and upstream. You can see Google has pair with DTT and also level 3, which is Lumen. You can see downstream pair for Google prefix, all the prefix, version 4 IPv6, and all the IX connectivity. That's a very useful website you can use. Let's get back to our router and configure local preference. So let's take a look at the routing table, show route. So we have these two IP blocks that we are learning from Lumen and GTT. So the primary path to reach those subnet is Lumen right now, and this is other prefix that's coming from router 6. Same thing is going through Lumen, and GTT is backup. So we're gonna reroute this traffic to go through GTT instead, because Lumen is having a packet loss, right? So that's the assumption, you know, that Lumen is a good provider. So you have option to use local preference. The easiest way, if you have one single IP is having an issue, you can just use a static route it through the GTT. But in some case, it's not just one single IP. So let's just use local preference. So local preference is it has to set on inbound BGP filter. We go to our import filter. As you can see, we are accepting all the routes coming from Lumen. We're gonna create new term. We're gonna call it Google lower local preference, and from route filter, we're gonna reroute this entire prefix exact, and then here where you set the local preference. So we mentioned before, the higher local preference has higher priority. So we're gonna make Lumen to has lower priority in order to reroute traffic to GTT instead. So we lower the local preference to 80. The default was 100. So if we take a look at our filter, inbound filter, we create new term. We have to move it up to first of the list. This is how you can do that. Insert policy, import term, Google. We're gonna put it before term, accept. Term on top of the accept. because that's gonna be match first. We're gonna commit that. So let's take a look at route again before we commit it. Prefix. It's going through Lumen. The local preference is default 100, and the path for backup is GTT. The same local preference default 100. I'm gonna commit the change. Take a look at the route again. So now the path going through Lumen is having lower local preference, and now traffic take GTT to go out. So we reroute traffic for this prefix. So this is easy because it's just one prefix. But let's say every single prefix coming from Lumen belong to Google is having an issue. So you cannot add all the prefix to reroute traffic because there is 1,000 prefix, and the easiest way to do to use AS-Path instead. So you have to create AS-Path. Let's take a look at the route again. As you can see, we reroute traffic for this prefix only. So this one is for Google also, right? So it didn't change. It's still local preference 100 going through Lumen, and also this prefix coming from Google Cloud ASN, which is behind Google, is still going through Lumen because the local preference we haven't changed it. So we're gonna change them all with AF-Path. So you have to create AF-Path. Show. I already created one. I'm gonna show you the command you can use. AF-Path. I create two AF-Path Google Origin. This is a command you can use. That's the regular expression you can set for AF-Path. It says any path that starts with Lumen and with Google, right? That's what we call Google origin. All the prefix originated from Google, coming from Lumen. And we also have another one we call, you can name it whatever you want, Google Direct. So the difference is instead of this dollar that end the AS-Path, we add dot and a star. It says it can add another AS after Google, which covers this IP prefix because that's the AS-Path, right? It's Lumen, Google, and Google Cloud AS number. So in order to test it, you can do show route AS prefix. I mean AS regular expression. Use this one first. It's gonna show only any prefix coming from Google, these two, right? That's the AS-Path, Lumen, and Google, and that's it. If you use the other one, Google Direct, it's gonna show the other one too, right? Because that is behind the Google, Lumen, Google, and Google Cloud. So if you want to reroute everything that coming from Lumen for Google, you have to use this one. But if you want to just reroute traffic for the prefix originate from Google, this AS number only, nothing behind that. So this one is enough. So I'm gonna use this one first. So let's get back to our filter again. Import. I'm gonna remove this specific route, instead use AF-Path. So it's easy, just remove this one. Then instead of route filter, we say AS-Path gonna use Google origin that I already created. This is how it looks like now. This is the term that we created. So we're saying, so it's good to add protocol BGP also. Okay, now it's better. So anything coming from BGP match with this AF pass, lower the local preference for. Anything else stays same. So I'm gonna commit change. If you take a look at the route again, so this might have, I mean, this one should have different local preference, which is 80. So now the primary path is through GTT. Same for this one. It's going through GTT, and Lumen path changed to local preference 80, which has a lower priority. And now everything coming from all the prefix originate from Google is getting rerouted to GTT instead, but not this one. This one, remember, if we go back to the router, it's coming from this router 6, which is behind the Google main AS number, but is not getting rerouted. In order to do that, that is still going through Lumen. You have to use other AS and AF paths that we created, which is called Google Direct. I'm gonna remove this one. So this is our import policy. So we are using Google Direct instead. So Google Direct we already created here, if you forgot. So the command is this one, set policy object as pass. You can name it whatever you want. We name it Google Direct, and member is the command if you want to set it. If I do this, you can do member and add it, or you can just do it like this. So now if you commit change and we take a look at routes, so these two is already changed. Local preference 80 for Lumen, so which is a backup path now, and same for the other one. And now this one has been changed also. It's going through GTT. We used to go through Lumen, and the Lumen one local preference changed to 80. So now we successfully reroute everything for Google IP prefix that come from Lumen. So this is just outbound traffic that we rerouted. So the packet still may coming from Lumen if traffic start from Google side, or your response may come back from Lumen. So you don't want to. So in order to reroute inbound traffic, we can use AS Prepend, right? So what it does, so for inbound traffic, we have to set AS-Path Prepend into our export filter. So we go to our export filter for Lumen. So we are announcing these two IP prefix. So this is a command I already add. I'm gonna show you. That's the command. So you are filtering your IP block that advertising to Lumen, and then accept. You can add AS-Path Prepend. You can prepend your own ASN as many times you want. 3 times I guess is enough to make the path longer than the standard, so that make that path with lower priority. So I'm gonna activate this. Here is activated. I haven't committed yet, so let's go to Lumen router and take a look at our route. Here, this is our route. So Lumen, we have a BGP directly with Lumen, so there is one AS to reach us. It has another pass through GTT also, right? So what we do, adding three more our own AS number into the AF path, make this AF path longer. In that case, GTT is going to be a better path to reach us, right? And this is going to be a backup path. So let's do that. I'm gonna commit the change. I'm gonna go back to the Lumen, check the route again. I'll just check this route. Although it's gonna make change to this one too, because we have added at the end of this term, which covered all the prefix that we have. If you want to just affect one of them, you can create new term on top of this and just apply this AS prepend to that one only. So did we commit change? Yes, we did. So let's take a look at Lumen router and this routes, and we're gonna compare it. So now anything coming from outside to Lumen wants to get to our AS number is going through, I mean, that's a Lumen router is going through another provider that GTT has instead of going to us directly, because as you can see, we add 3 times our AS prepended. So this one is longer path to get to us, which is not the best path, right? So that way we reroute inbound traffic. So if we go to the Google router, let's see how it's seeing our routes now. The route 192.168.10.0/24. As you can see, Google Routes is rather to send through GTT instead of Lumen, because we already prepended and is now GTT is the better path. So with that one, we reroute inbound traffic. Now everything coming from GTT to us and traffic going back through GTT to Google. So we bypass Lumen using local preference and prepend. So that's what we wanted. I'm gonna roll back the change for prepend. Okay. Let's take a look at Google again. Still going through GTT because that was the active path. If I shut down BGP on the GTT, it's gonna fail back over to Lumen again. GTT, roll it back again. Let's take a look at route again. Okay, it's going through Lumen because we removed the prepend. Here, the Lumen is primary and GTT is secondary. That's the Google router, right? In order to reach to our IP block is taking Lumen. So I'm gonna show you another way that you can um, uh, reroute inbound traffic. Instead of using prepend, you can use that one, which is more sophisticated way to do that. All the provider, as we mentioned, they have community you can tag. So on router one, you have to create community. Already created one. Lumen backup. So you can find this. That's a real number. So it's not just working in the lab. So if you wanna make Lumen as a backup, you have to add this community to your export BGP. So with Lumen and all the provider has bunch of community you can find in their website. So the other one is Black Hole. If you want a black hole, you have to advertise your prefix, adding this community to it. And on the Lumen router is getting black hole. So we're gonna use backup instead. So for backup, this is a command you have to create first, community on your router. And then you come to Lumen export. So we already deactivate this. So instead, we have to add export. The term is AS65. And then I'm gonna add community and community backup. Okay, we added here. Let's see how we are announcing our IP to Lumen. What was the IP? Run show. That's 10.4.4.1. If you do details. So we are announcing this without any community, right? We go to the Lumen, do this BGP summary, and I'm gonna see show route received from our AS number. This is the route Lumen getting from us. Tells. See, there is no community added yet. So as soon as I commit the change, so it's gonna show that this community added to route when we announce it to Lumen. If we go to Lumen, Lumen is gonna see it too. See, that community is added. What it does, we are telling Lumen that whatever we are announcing to you, make the local preference on your router lower than default, right? So if we take a look at route again under Lumen, let's see what do we have before. So for this one, so we had Lumen had local preference default 100. So let's check it again. So it should take to 80 instead. Here. So it changed it to 80. So now Lumen, in order to get to us, is not using the direct BGP to us because we changed the lower preference, local preference with adding community. So it's sending traffic to GTT instead, and then that come to us. So community is another way you can reroute your traffic for inbound traffic, and local preference is what you can use to reroute outbound traffic. So that's that. And the next we're gonna talk about MED and how to use that for also reroute inbound traffic. But that's going to be diagram number 2. So in this scenario, as we already mentioned, when you can use MED, that your AS number or your router has 2 BGP to the same ISP. So you cannot use MED if you have this scenario, 2 different ISP. So you have to have 2 BGP to one ISP, and you're gonna reroute inbound traffic. For example, the traffic coming to you, you're gonna make eBGP number 1 as a primary, eBGP number 2 as a backup. In that case, you use MED to reroute inbound traffic. So there is 2 way you can use and configure MED. You can either, as we already mentioned, for reroute inbound traffic, you have to set MED on your outbound filter on your BGP, or you can just set on your BGP configuration itself. So let's take a look at it. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. Let me know in the comment if you like the router configuration file to build this lab yourself, and I'll add the download link in the description below. Let's get to router configuration. So on the router 1, we have BGP to Lumen with this P2P IP. Same on the router 2. Let's take a look at Lumen. So we have BGP to our AS 65000. So we have 2 BGP, one from router 1. This is router 1, and this is router 2. So let's see which one is primary now. Show route. So from Lumen to us is taking router 2. So for inbound traffic, eBGP number 2 is the primary, and eBGP number 1 is backup. So we're gonna make it the other way. So eBGP 1 become primary. So in order to do that, we have to set MED on router 1 and 2, change the MED to a different value. So let's do it. So I'm gonna go to, so there is 2 way you can do it. You can either put the metric into the BGP configuration itself, or you can add it to your export filter. So we can do both and test it. So on router 1, we're gonna make it primary, so we have to set the lower MED. As we said, lower value has higher priority. We go to BGP protocol configuration for Lumen. So I'm gonna set for router 1 metric. I'm gonna set it to 50. I'm gonna do the same thing to router 2 and set it to 100. Commit this one, commit this one. Let's get back to the router, Lumen router. Take a look at the route again. So as you can see, we have mid 50 here and 100. 50 is having a higher priority, which is router 1. So it used to be router 2. Now the active path is router 1. And router 2 is going to be secondary path. And we're done here. So let's do setup med on export policy instead. I'm not gonna remove this. I'm gonna show you if you do set the med on export policy, that's gonna override it to the existing value. So we're gonna go to BGP Lumen export and set that on term AS 6500 65,000. There's a typo here. So you can either, so there is an option when you do it on export policy, you can apply it to all the prefix that you are announcing, or if you want to just apply it for one prefix, you can make BGP1 primary for this prefix, BGP2 for this one. You can create new terms with a specific prefix of your AS and apply that community to it. So that apply to that specific route. But here we're gonna just apply it to the main term that we have. So this is how we have to add it. Community add. I'm sorry. Metric add. So on the BGP we set met to 50. Now I'm gonna set it to 40. That's gonna override the BGP configuration and we're gonna see 40 instead, which is still lower than 100. This is a filter we added here at the end of this term. It's gonna apply to every, these two prefixes that we are advertising to upstream ISP. I'm gonna commit it. Same thing for router 2. On router 2, we have set mid 200. So I'm gonna set it to 90 here instead, which is still higher than 40. Show policy lumen export. We added here. Coming. Going back to lumen router. We're gonna check the routes again. As you can see, MED has been changed to 50, and which is our router 1, and the other one is 90, which is going to make that BGP prime, the secondary, right? So let's see why this one changed to 70 instead of 60. Did we change? Set it to 40. You know why? Okay, when we do that, there is one reason. So if you take a look at route, this router, there is a metric 30 coming from OSPF that add to the 40 becomes 70 when you do through uh, uh, export policy instead. So it's gonna add the OSPF metric to it. So it doesn't change anything. So it's still 70 is lower than 90 and is going to make that EBGP1 primary. So Lumen now send traffic to our AS through our BGP1, which what we wanted to be primary, and we're good here. Thank you for watching us and thank you for your support. See you soon.